All right, here we go. Mike Guitar Player 07 here, coming at you live with another vinyl record video with the one and only Marichen.
Hello.
Another collab video. These are fun. I'm loving doing all these collab videos. So, not many people talk about this genre in the VC, as you tell by the title of the video. It talks about hair metal, so that's what we're talking about today. Because no one loves hair metal quite as much as Marichen and I think.
Yeah,
And
it's bad whenever your local record store owner says, "Oh, hey, new hair metal in today. Go check it out." No, no thanks. I don't need it.
that's funny. And my couple of my friends know that I love it, and the VC knows, but many people actually don't like the terminology hair metal, which I didn't know until recently. I saw within the past like 2 weeks, the VC, like a couple of people were like talking about hair metal, and they're like, should we even say that term? Because we don't like that term. But I'm just like, I don't know.
I've seen that because like the hair metal and glam metal kind of like clash and have that
Dang it,
thin
my
line, and everyone's just like, "I don't like those terms." I'm like, "Then what are you supposed to call it?"
yeah, I don't know. But for those of the, I'm sure we all know in the VC what hair metal is. But for those who don't know, hair metal is a lighter version of pretty much metal. Um, you take Megadeth and you water it down pretty much, and you add big poofy hair. So, for example, this is not one of the albums I'm going to show, but I pulled it out for example because it's pretty much hair metal. That's, I guess, for lack of a better way to say it, cheesier, even though it's still great. And you have big poofy hair.
Oh no!
I'm not showing. This is not one of my choices for showing. I'm just showing it for example for the hair. But
Pick that album. That's hilarious.
you did or did not?
I did.
Oh, perfect. Well, I'm not going to talk about it, so you're going to get to then. This is my friend has this on vinyl record, and I'm jealous of him. And this is one I need on vinyl record, but I haven't found it in good condition. But that's where hair metal comes from, because see all that hair.
Yeah.
Bon Jovi is considered hair metal, even though a lot of people don't consider him hair metal, but he is technically classified as hair metal. So
Yeah. I never thought he would be considered hair metal, but you know, that's I guess can see it.
yeah, I mean the hair. I mean, yeah, but like you compare like Bon Jovi to Rat or Cinderella or something else, and it's like I see it, but it's not. It's like where the glam kind of, it's that fine line we were just talking about.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of mine probably skate the fine line, but I figured that was okay because I said it was okay.
I'm in agreement. It's okay. So you're the guest, so I'll let you choose and show your first record. Yeah. Oh, we should try tell them what we're doing. We're showing five.
So excited.
Yeah, we're excited. We're jumping the gun here. I mean, the title says it, but we're showing five hair metal albums that we think are either important in our lives, or just think are good albums that people need to check out.
Yeah.
Now you're the guest. Now you can show.
Well, actually, I was going to start off a little different, but since you did talk about Cinderella Night songs, I thought I'd show it first.
Okay.
I did mention it. I feel like Cinderella is a little underrated. I
Mm-hmm.
don't hear a lot of people talk about Cinderella, and that saddens me. Actually, when I got this record, my fiance Jared was like, "Who is Cinderella?" And I cried a little on the inside because I've been trying to show him hair metal and glam metal because he's more into like the metal, like thrash metal and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I've been trying to introduce him to stuff like this. And I feel like this is just a classic record that no one talks about, and everyone should listen to at some point in their life.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love these guys. They were one of the first bands I ever really branched out into in the genre. So this album is just always very special to me, and it has a lot of hits on it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Everybody talks about their album "Long Cold Winter," and I think that Night Songs is significantly better.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's like my favorite album from them. That may be like an unpopular opinion, but that's definitely their best album.
I mean, of the people who I talk to, whether it be in the VC, the few people who know Cinderella, or like some of the people I hang out with from college, they agree with me with Night Songs. But like, I'm just looking at the track list since I just happen to have the CD here.
Yeah.
Like, Nobody's Fool, I mean, is obviously fantastic, but
Oh yeah.
the title track, Night Songs, is such a great way to open that album.
It's just an incredible album. I really can't stress it enough. I listened to that album so many times, and you think honestly with the amount of times I've listened to it, I would hate it and it would be worn out, but it's not. So
No, and the guitar riffs are some of the greatest hair metal guitar riffs, in my opinion, on that one.
yeah, I feel like they're super underrated. So check them out if you're not.
You guys need to get on that. All right, so this is the only record I pulled from my mom's collection. And this is one I think, well, I know you were looking for, and I've been looking for a copy for you, unless you've recently gotten it, and I just don't know about it. We got Twisted Sister Stay Hungry.
I knew it was going to be that record, and no, I've not found a copy of it yet, and I'm so devastated.
Well, I'm still looking for you, so don't worry. I actually have this album on cassette and CD too, but this is fantastic. I mean, it's their most well-known album of their works, and obviously it starts off with the song "Stay Hungry," but the biggest hit from it is "We're Not Gonna Take It." That's what it is, which is fantastic. And of course, we know "I Want to Rock," which is a very popular one as well, but not quite as popular as "We're Not Gonna Take It." And for those of you who know the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, the first one, the good one, "I'm a Goofy Goober Rock" was a parody of that song. So this is pretty much this is a pretty flawless album. There's like one or two kind of duds on it, in my opinion, but really, it's iconic. And Dee Snider, of course, fun stuff.
I love Snider. He's fun.
Yeah, I mean, you have other Twisted Sisters albums that I don't have, so
yeah,
I have their iconic one, and you have their deeper cuts.
Yeah, I tried not to pick a Twisted Sister album because I was for sure you'd probably pick one, so I tried to stray away from a few bands, but I don't know how well I did.
It's just like what we were saying before we went to the actual recording aspect. Me and Dylan are on the same wavelength, so you didn't want to do that again.
I know. I'd feel so bad because I'd be like, "Hey, look at this album," and they're like, "Oh, hey, look at this album."
It'll be funny if we choose the same one, though.
No. I hope not. So this is a band I think that you probably didn't pick, hoping anyway. This was the one I was going to show first, and it's Poison's "Look What the Cat Dragged In."
Okay, there you go.
This was actually the first like hair metal, glam metal, whatever you want to call it, record that I ventured out into. My mom actually had like the Poison's greatest hits CD, and I wore it out, and she finally got me this album. It was like a CD version. Nice. And when I found this, it's kind of beat up, but I mean, I don't see this very often at all. So I grabbed it really quick because this is a classic. I mean, it's got "I Want Action," "I Won't Forget You," "Live with Cat Dragged In," "Talk Dirty to Me." It's just a classic, I feel like. And Poison, like I said, was my introduction to the hair metal and glam metal genre. So I couldn't not include Poison in here.
Oh, yeah.
Also, if the concert doesn't get canceled, I'm supposed to see them with Motley Crue in June. But
that's fantastic.
You know,
my introduction to the hair metal, glam metal started off with Bon Jovi and then Twisted Sister, and then Motley Crue, and then it just kept going. Yeah, I forgot about that album. My mom had that one on CD as a kid, and actually too. I got "I Want Action." I forgot about that one. That's a great tune.
I love that song. I had like the greatest hit CD I wore out all the time. I would take like a CD from mom or dad's collection and wear it out. Like no matter what genre or what it was, just a lot of classic rock music in general, I would take and play it 100 times until they got like sick and tired of it and gave me a new one. And I was like, thanks.
Yeah.
So now I've wore out a lot of these records, but I still listen to them. So I feel like that's a testament to how good they are.
Yeah, the only Poison album I have is actually no full-length albums. I have the Mama Can't Dance, 45.
Mm-hmm.
I had one that I got from a collection that was a DJ's collection. We had a whole bunch of 45s, 12-inch records. A lot of them were unfortunately beaten because of how much they were used, but a lot of them were in good condition. I had a copy of that. But then in one of my VCLT packages from M at 8 Vinyl Low, she gave me another copy, which is in not only the record is in better condition, the sleeve is in better condition, and it came with the jukebox tag, which is awesome. So
yeah, that's cool.
I got an upgrade copy from that, and I gave one of my hair metal friends from college my old copy. So yeah. All right, coming up next. This is an album by a band that, of the three biggest albums of them, is the one that probably gets the least amount of attention. And I know that you recently have gotten a couple of albums by this band, and I really like this album. Even though it's not my favorite album by this band, it still is fantastic, and it's Rat's Reach for the Sky.
Yep.
The only hit off this album was Way Cool Jr., I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But really, there's a lot of great tunes on this. I actually have a DJ 45 for the single of Way Cool Jr. when I first got it, I thought there was a problem because of the 45 had Way Cool Jr. on both the A and B side, and the sleeve said what the B side was, which I can't remember what it was at the moment.
Mhm.
And the and both sides play Way Cool Jr. So it's like, they did something wacky here. But that's apparently how they did DJ 45s back in the day, or the promotional copies, because so the DJs could just quickly put it down and not have to worry about what song it was, because they knew both sides had it.
That's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, so this is a 1988 release. Of course, this came after Invasion of Privacy and Out of the Cellar, which both are also fantastic. Out of the Cellar, even though it's overdone and their mainstream album because of Round and Round, I must say I think that is fantastic because even the deep cuts are killer. So there are a few filler tracks on this one, unfortunately, but it's still an unloved Rat album that deserves some love.
Gotcha. All right, let's see. Since I talked about Poison, I might as well go ahead and do it. You knew I was going to do it. Motley Crue, Theater of Pain, my favorite Motley Crue record.
Mine too.
Also, seeing a trend here, this is the first album I listened to by Motley Crue. I didn't even realize it as I was going and picking stuff out, but this is the first for me. I loved this album, and it's still like my favorite Motley Crue record ever. I think nothing tops this album, honestly. And I don't know why I was so attracted to this album, but I remember when I first listened to Motley Crue, my dad actually hates Motley Crue. And every time they come on the radio, he would skip them. And I was so interested in who they were because, like, from the 5 seconds of the song I heard, I really liked it. So I went on YouTube and looked them up. And at first it was kind of like, I'm going to get back at my dad and just like blast these guys until he gets annoyed with me. But then I genuinely fell in love with these guys. And this was like the first album I resorted to. And I absolutely love it. This is one of the reissues that's on colored vinyl. I actually don't have a lot of originals because they're kind of expensive. I do have an original of Too Fast for Love, but trying to acquire some more originals of these. But I mean, I feel like this album just has like every hit song from Motley Crue on it. I mean, this whole album is a hit. City Boy Blues, Fight for Your Rights, Home Sweet Home, Keep Your Eye on the Money, Smoking in the Boys Room, Use It or Lose It. I mean, that's like half of the album here is just insanely popular. So, I mean, it's a good album and it's good for a reason. Every song on there is just killer.
Yeah, it's just like Genesis' Invisible Touch. Every song mostly is a hit on the first side. What's the color? Why don't you show out the color of that one?
Yeah, sure. This one is on white vinyl.
Okay. Oh, and it has it stayed true to the Elektra label of the original.
Yes, but it does have like where they reissued everything. It does have like the little Motley Crue records because they, went back and
Right.
bought the rights to all their albums. It does have Motley Crue records stamped at the top, but it is like the Elektra label. So
Yeah, because my mom had that and Shout Out the Devil on vinyl record as a kid, so I have like a more original pressings of them, and that's what I don't remember if it's which one had one of them had that red and black one, and one of them had like I believe it was the green Elektra label that you like associate with like the Doors and all that stuff.
yeah,
But yeah, that's a great album. I mean,
I love
Motley
that
Crue,
record.
that's my favorite Motley Crue one. That and Shadow of the Devil, I guess, because of the fact that those are the ones I've heard most because of my mom's collection. But I really, I mean, I had bought their greatest hits CD back when Target was selling CDs like they used to.
Mhm.
I was pained a couple weeks ago before everything went down. I went to Target and they shrunk down the CD selection again to like 2 shelves in like this skimpy area of the entertainment area, and I'm just like, oh, that hurts. I mean, I'm glad that they have a bigger vinyl record selection now, but I'm just like, oh, that hurts.
I know, like, I feel like CDs are out now, which I'm not a huge CD person. I don't have a whole lot of CDs. I have more vinyl than I do CDs, honestly, but I'm just like, CDs are pretty cool too, but it saddens me even more because I kept buying CDs and buying CDs, and I could play them in my car, but since I bought a new car, it doesn't have a CD player, and that's like the saddest thing in the world to me is that my car doesn't have a CD player.
My dad's new truck that he got like a year or two ago does not have a CD player, and it boggles my mind.
I know. I mean, it's a 2017, so it's not like brand new, but like I was like, please, a CD player? Nope.
Yeah, my dad's is a 2016. and my grandpa just bought a I think it's a 20, I don't know if it's 2019 or 2020, one of the newer Chevy Traverses. And he kept calling me and calling me and calling me because I was having to explain to him how to add songs to from the CDs to his iTunes on his computer, and then how to get it onto a USB or SD card to put it onto his car so he could listen to his music.
That's hilarious. Mine is actually like it's got Bluetooth, it's got an aux cord, and it's got the USB. It's got like everything. I even have Wi-Fi in my car. Like
Oh,
who has
wow.
Wi-Fi in their car? I love it, but at the same time, I'm like, I get Wi-Fi and I get all these options to hook up my phone, but I don't get a CD player.
Yeah. I mean, my old truck before the one I have now, you had a CD and a cassette deck, so I was living. I was loving it. And then my new truck has just a CD player, and now my CD player doesn't even work in my truck, so I'm just stuck with my phone now. But
No, that's so sad. I had to actually borrow my dad's car for a while, and the CD player and it didn't work. And
no,
then after I borrowed my dad's car, I had to borrow my mom's car for a while, and the CD player worked. And then one of my Queen CDs got stuck in there, and I was so mortified because I love Queen. And I was so devastated, but I got the CD out, and now one of the songs skips, and I'm very sad about it. But needless to say, that CD player doesn't work anymore. So all of my cars up until my new car hated me and
no,
didn't
no.
allow me to play CDs. So now I'm just stuck with playing them in my room.
Which Queen CD was it?
It was the greatest hits CD.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I have a few Queen CDs. I don't have too many, but I just put that in there because I had it in my old car, and when I was moving stuff from car to car, I put it in
Mhm.
there, and I started playing it, and I was like, this is fun. We're having fun. And then I go to get it out the next morning, and it won't come out. And all you hear is like the
Mhm.
trying to process. I'm like, no, no, we're not having this. And it was cold, so I was like, okay, maybe it's cold and it's just not wanting to work this morning because I don't either. And so that afternoon, when it kind of warmed up, I tried it again, and it did not want to come out. And my stepdad actually had to like take it out to get the CD out. It was not a good day for me.
Yeah, my CD situation, it was a library CD that I put in and it wouldn't play. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's something wrong with the disc. I tried to eject it, wouldn't eject. So it took about 2 weeks for me to get this disc out finally, because me just fiddling with it every so often, it finally worked, but it was painful.
Yeah, I hate that. That makes me sad.
Yeah, so I guess it's my turn now. We got a little off topic, but that's okay. This is what's fun about this. Um, it's the deeper cuts with Marichen and Mike.
No, I'm usually chatty and cut out a lot of my chatty parts in my videos.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm organic and don't really cut things out for my videos. Um, so this one is a band that I'm pretty sure you might not have any of. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is Molly Hatchet, Flirting with Disaster.
I don't have any of their stuff on vinyl.
Yeah, this is their most popular album, studio album, I should say, which had clearly this hit Flirting with Disaster. But you know, Whiskey Man is very good too, and Boogie No More. I'm covering my face. Gunsmoke, all great stuff. Gunsmoke not in relation to the TV show from the 60s, unfortunately, but that would be cool. But yeah, and shout out to Bob for ruining this record by writing their name on it. I don't know if you guys could see that in there, but Bob, um, very nice of you, but I'm glad I have your autograph. Too bad you're not famous. But
I love those where you get records and they have people's names on them. It's just so
yeah,
fun.
yeah. So that's good, and that this is only one of two Molly Hatchet albums I have. I have the greatest hits on cassette, but Flirting with Disaster, that's a good one that doesn't get a lot of love. You compared to traditional hair metal and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's not vocally what you're used to.
Hmm.
I almost compare. It's painful to say, but I almost compare it to a mild version of Kermit the Frog in a way. His vocal style, like singing voice, in a way. Um, it's not as terrible as Kermit the Frog. It's not like you're getting the Rainbow Connection here, but
Yeah,
you
I
can.
can see it.
But it took me some time to get used to, but now I enjoyed that. And a cool fun fact: I don't know if this show ended up being canceled or when this show was supposed to happen, but one of my friends' local band from my area was supposed to open for Molly Hatchet. So
Oh, cool.
don't know how that played out or what that's gonna go, but yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I actually got to see them one time. My dad and I go on these cruises, and I actually didn't get to go last year, but it's called Rock Legends, and it's a ton of people that, like, I mean, everyone in
Oh
the
yeah.
DC probably know. And I got to actually see them and meet them after the show. It was really cool, and they were really cool guys. That's actually how I really got into them because I wasn't a huge fan until I really like listened to them live. But they were pretty cool. So
Nice.
yeah. The next one, I've also seen these guys in concert. I feel like I'm just like a record and like wearing myself out. I'm just on a loop. I chose Def Leppard's Pyromania. I figured this one kind of skated the line too because I was like, do they really count? But they do count, I feel like. And I've actually gotten to see these guys. I got to see them on my 16th birthday, and that was really cool. They played with Styx and Tesla, which are two really great
Ooh,
bands
wow.
too. Yeah, I know, that was so awesome. One of my mom's friends, got me tickets because her son's my age, and he really liked Def Leppard too, and she's like, "Well, it's, like, around Mariken's birthday," so we all went, and it was really fun. And, this record was the first record I heard from Def Leppard. I'm seeing a trend as I'm showing these and talking about them and thinking about it more. And I'm also possibly gonna get to see them if they don't cancel the tour with Motley Crue, which I would be very sad about. But this record is phenomenal. One of my favorites from them. It's got a ton of great songs like Photograph, Too Late for Love, Foolin', and Rock of Ages are a bunch of the hits on this one. Um, but I feel like you can't go wrong with this record. I feel like you can't go wrong with any Def Leppard record, honestly, especially their early years.
For the most part, there's a few duds in their discography, but
Yeah, I feel like their later years is a little for
mm,
me, but their early years are definitely really good, and I mean, you can't go wrong with any of those early albums. So
yeah. One of my favorite songs from that album that you actually didn't even mention was "Rock Rock Till You Drop." So
yeah, that's a good song too. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that song, but it is a good song. It's one of
yeah.
my favorites off the album.
One of the two MoFi CDs that are in the various collections that I've gotten from family members and all this stuff, one of them is Def Leppard's Pyromania on MoFi CD.
Oh,
I,
that'd be cool.
my dad had that, so that was pretty cool. All right, what's next? I need to get more Def Leppard. Period. I have High and Dry and On Through the Night on vinyl record. I used to have Hysteria. It was in terrible condition. Got rid of it, and I have Hysteria and Pyromania on CD from my dad. But really, that's it. I want to get well, first I want to get the 30th anniversary edition on CD, that like the 3 CD set they had of it, and then I want to get everything else. I
Yeah.
need High and Dry on physical media rather than vinyl. I need it on CD.
Yeah. High and Dry is a fantastic record. I love that one.
It was funny. I was at a record store with one of my friends, and they're like, "What Def Leppard album is this?" And I was like, "Well, what song is playing?" It's Heading on for a Heartbreak, and I'm just like, "I know what album it is. Can you guess based on what year this came out?" So just testing his knowledge and seeing how he's like, "You're killing me. You got to tell me." And I was like, "High and Dry."
Jared hates whenever I do stuff like that because he says I'm like an encyclopedia, which I guess is true for music that I really love and really get into. I know like the years albums were released and like, just certain special things about albums. And I'll quiz him all the time. Like, he'll be like, I don't know this song. And I'll just like rattle it off. And he's like, stop. That's annoying.
That's me. That's me with my family. Except my dad is like, "What song is this?" And he doesn't know. He forgets. And I'm just like, "Oh, that's that one." Unless it's Van Halen, then he knows everything. But then that is his favorite band, so he should know most of that. But yeah, I'm an encyclopedia too. It's drives people.
I guess it's a compliment because like that makes me feel really smart. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just annoying and I need to stop asking questions.
In high school and college, people would test me on my musical knowledge by saying, "I'm going to just say some random words and let's see what you can compare it to musically or song wise or something like that." For the most part, I was successful. There were a few times I must say they stumped me, but I'm proud to say I got a lot of them.
Wow. Yeah, I seen there was like an interview with several different people, like musicians and stuff, and they were trying to like compare songs to like certain words. Like, you have this word rabbit. and you had to like think of a song with the word rabbit
I
in it.
have it. White Rabbit, Jefferson Airplane.
Yeah. And it was like stuff like that. And I'm like, see, now I don't know if I could do that. Like if I was like physically getting quizzed, like
Mhm.
I'm good at like just randomly spouting off knowledge whenever I feel like it. But like if I'm sat down and like pressured about it, like, oh, hey, you've got to think of this in like the next 5 seconds. I don't know if I could do it. I'd be like a spaz and just forget everything I've ever known about music and be like,
What's music?
yeah, no idea.
I never
So
heard of what's this thing called music? I've never heard of this. What is this wiggly air that we're talking about?
yeah, words and sounds, no
What's
idea.
what's a sine wave?
Beyond me, I don't know.
All right. So the next pick, we could go on for just Def Leppard for a while, but
Oh yeah,
I chose Nazareth, Hair of the Dog.
such a good album.
A great album and underrated. I mean, there's a handful of people. I've seen it a few times in the VC. I actually had 2 copies of this. I VCLT'd this to Emma, one of the first 1 or 2 packages I ever sent her.
Mm.
And this has the hits "Hair of the Dog" and "Love Hurts."
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I didn't know who did "Love Hurts." It's a funny story with my discovery of Nazareth. So I was in a local record shop, and this record shop only does used records, not a problem. So in a dollar bin, they had a album by Nazareth called Hot Tracks, which is a comp album.
Mhm.
And I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know anything about Nazareth, rather than the fact that they were like a glam hair metal band and that I had heard of them and wanted to check them out. So I got that album. I was listening to it. Hair of the Dog came on, and I'm just like dropping my jaw. And then Love Hurts comes. I'm further dropping my jaw. I'm just like, oh, these are bops. Because I was listening to it in my secondary setup in the basement of my house, like doing some stuff with my sister playing video games or whatever. I don't know what I was doing. But it was just instantly I had to find this album. And on vinyl record, it was fairly easy to find. CD, difficult. I did do it, but it took me a couple months to find because this was like the first thing. And this album cover is just so cool. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, I actually just recently found it on vinyl, and I love it. It's so I thought about including that one, but I didn't because I was like, I wonder if Mike will include it. So I
Yeah.
did.
And no, this doesn't have a cool label. I thought this one had, I forgot if this one had a custom label or not, but it doesn't. Some of these hair metal ones had like custom labels, some of these. So, but yeah, but even deeper cuts, like there's a song called Beggars Down Here and Whiskey Drinking Woman, like fantastic.
Those are good songs. I love those songs.
This is, I need to respin this now that I have it out because I haven't heard this in almost a year, and that's sad.
Yeah, I know. I just played it like 2 days ago. I've been going through and cleaning all my records and stuff. So I've been discovering new records that I need to play that I've not played in a while because I have like 1,000 records and I need to stop. It's an addiction. But I'm like, man, I should really play that. And like, this has kind of made me think, man, I should really play these more too. So it's a good thing about this video.
Yeah, I in recent days, because my main turntable that's in my room, like right next to me here, needs a new stylus. So I've been mainly listening to cassettes and CDs up here and then records in the secondary setup. So I've been rediscovering because I have 1,100 something CDs. So I'm kind of like going through and rediscovering things I haven't heard in forever. Some of them throwbacks, like middle school throwbacks. We're talking like Black Eyed Peas, The End here.
Oh, yeah. I remember when they were popular.
Honestly, I remember the day I bought that CD, but not many CDs I can remember that. But that one is one I remember buying, and it was that. I mean, I pulled out Katy Perry's "Teenage Dream." I'm really throwing myself out here because I don't talk about modern music much, but
It's
there's
a good record. I don't know why everybody craps on Katy Perry. She's got some pretty good releases. So
that's true. I mean, I do now have that 12-inch album
yeah.
or single, thanks to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Katy Perry. Well, for the most part, you can't go wrong with Katy Perry. Some of her more modern stuff, I'm hit or miss with, but the first 2 or 3 albums are great. When one of them, now that we're on another tangent, when one of the boys came out, I remember that was around the same time I was first introduced to the band Rush. So I was obsessed with the album Moving Pictures and One of the Boys at the same time.
That's a great combination. Hey, that's okay. Like whenever I was 6, I loved Elvis Presley because that was like the first person I ever got introduced to musically.
Okay.
And so I would constantly be playing some sort of Elvis Presley CD that my dad had. But I was also discovering new music on my own and listening to pop music, which my parents aren't big pop music people. So I would get all this pop music from like friends at school.
Mhm.
And so my best friend introduced me to like the Jonas Brothers and like all of the cheesy like early 2000s like pop stuff. And so I was listening to a lot of that stuff and a lot of the classic rock. So I feel like I had a weird combination too.
Me, yeah. Full disclosure, the other day I almost pulled out a little bit longer to listen to. Not gonna lie, because I hadn't heard like "BB Good" or "Love Bug" by the Jonas Brothers in years, and I have a soft spot for Disney. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, hey, I'm not mad about it. I thought about subscribing to their like subscription box to get all of their albums on vinyl, but I'm like, do I really want to spend $50 a month to have like all of their records? No.
Is
I
this
don't.
Jonas Brothers or Disney in general?
Jonas Brothers.
Okay, yeah, I
They're
did see they're
releasing like
releasing
a
their
lot of
stuff.
their early stuff, and then they have like singles. I mean, just a bunch of like random stuff too, but they have all of their albums repressed, and I'm like, do I really need that? Because I don't listen to them much anymore, but
Yes,
when I do, I love it, and I'm just like, I need to stop. So I've tried to not buy it, but it's very tempting.
I'm putting myself on blast here, but that's like me with Hannah Montana.
Hey, I debated about buying it from Urban Outfitters because I was
I
like,
did.
it's Hannah Montana. Like, I grew up with Hannah Montana. The
I
first
had it.
concert I ever went to was Hannah Montana. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I will go ahead. I will say it. I don't care.
I bought that Urban Outfitters record. Actually, no, my mom bought it for me for Easter last year because I asked for it, and she's like, "Really?" And I'm just like, "It's on purple wax. It's cool."
Hey, I almost got it, and now they have it on clear. So I thought about getting that one because I didn't get the purple one because I was like, no, I don't need it. I don't need it. And then they released High School Musical, which I did
On
have
the
to get
gold wax. On gold wax.
because I love High School Musical. That was like the first movie I ever remember loving. And I loved Zac Efron. I was like every other like 6-year-old at the time that was obsessed with him. And so I got that one. And now they have Camp Rock and the Cheetah Girls, which I'm like, do I need
Boy.
those? Because like I loved Camp Rock and the Cheetah Girls were, fantastic. But I've talked myself out of those for the moment. So
Yeah, I saw the High School Musical one, but it was like $50. I thought, and I was like, no. If I want to hear the High School Musical, my sister gave me most of her CD collection because she doesn't really listen to CDs anymore. So I have her like double CD version of High School Musical, the first one, and I'm just like, I could either listen to that or I have the sheet music book and could play most of the first High School Musical on piano. So
yeah, hey,
breaking
it'll
free made me very popular to play back in my first years of college.
gosh, I have so much nostalgia is coming up. I feel like I'm like 6 again.
Yeah, hair metal and Disney, what a combo.
I know, right? A lot of my element. Is it my turn?
It is.
Okay. The last one, this is one I hope you didn't choose. This was the only one that I was like, I feel like Mike might choose this, but I want to include it anyway. Uh,
Okay.
hopefully you did not include Warren's Cherry Pie.
I did not.
Oh, yay. Thank goodness. Because I know you like this album too. So I debated not picking this one.
That is my favorite Warren album.
Yeah, hands down. I love this album and I love the album art. And this one's actually a gatefold too. So
Oh wow. I can't remember if mine is a gatefold or not. I've only listened to my copy on vinyl once. I got it the week after 4th of July. I got it, the red variant from Melinda Murphy. She sent me it my
that's
way.
the
I
one
don't
I have.
That's one you got? Yeah.
Yep, I have the red one. It's fantastic. I love it. I paid, I think, probably a little too much for it. I was at a record store in Nashville, and they're notorious for high prices, but I'd not seen it in person, and I really wanted it, so I got it.
Yeah, that's an album that I have on vinyl record and CD. I want that on cassette. Chris Profi, Musically Obsessed, has it on cassette, and I'm jealous.
I'm not into the huge cassette craze, so I don't really look at a lot of them when I go into the record stores. I probably should because I hear everybody talk about cassettes and stuff, but like I have some classic country stuff that like my grandparents listen to, but
Oh yeah, I have some of that. I remember you commenting on my most recent cassette video about that. Um, yeah, I have in regards to cassettes, I'm really classic country and or 90s country, classic country at this point, which is crazy to think. And
yeah.
metal and hair metal are great on cassette. I have some other stuff too, but I also really like you saw in that video, I got the Spice Girls Spice cassette. Like
Yep.
albums like that, or Britney Spears or NSYNC, like all those like on cassette would be great to have because, well,
All the nostalgia. Gosh,
yeah.
that's making me like think back to my childhood there.
Here's one that's going to be painful. You ready for this? Oops, I Did It Again turns 20 years old this upcoming summer.
No, it does not. No. Because I'll be 21 this summer. That does not seem real.
I know. I told you it hurts.
Ah, I feel old. I didn't feel old. And now I do. I am offended.
No, I'm telling you, like some of those older stuff, like I remember hearing it on the radio when I was a tot in the backseat of my mom's 1997 Ford Taurus going to Wegmans to get groceries. And I'm just remembering like I I told this story, but I'll tell it again. I remember hearing all these hits on the radio, but then a couple years ago in high school, I went on Pandora's 90s hits, summer hits radios to like hear some of these songs again. Third Eye Blind, NSYNC, Sugar Ray, all these. I'm just like, these are 20 something years old now. Plus, okay.
I know, it makes me feel so old when I think about that. Because, like, I was thinking about this year for the vinyl tag, it had an album that turns 20. And I was, like, really thinking hard. I was like, oh my gosh, like, what is a 2000s album? And I was going through my collection and Green Day's Warning. And I was like, no, there's no way that album is 20 years old this year. But it is. Because it
Yeah,
come out in 2000. And I love that album. That's one of my favorite Green Day albums.
same.
Just like, no way. Mm-mm.
I think I have to. I don't have much in the way of 90s and 2000s albums on vinyl records. So like when I did my tag, I don't remember if I pulled out a CD or if I just skipped that one because the closest I had was like 2002, 2003 with the Eminem Show album on vinyl records. So
I don't have a lot from the 90s or early 2000s either, so it's kind of hard like to find one. But I do have a few. I just feel like they don't really have a lot of stuff pressed from that era because vinyl
not
records
in the original
are
photos.
in. Yeah, so
It's more of like the reissues, which there's nothing wrong with. But yeah, the 1940s through 80s I'm set with, but like older than that, I kind of have to go with 78's a handful I have, and then newer, I have like I could think of three 90s albums off the top of my head that I have on vinyl record, and then one 2000s album, and maybe one or two modern ones. Like the modern stuff is something I want to get better with, and modern stuff not including record store day stuff.
yeah. I feel like I have a good mix of like modern albums
You do,
and older stuff because like I like a lot of modern music and I try and pre-order a lot of stuff and like pick up a lot of new releases just to listen to them and feel up to date. I
right?
try to do that, but I'm not always very good at that. So
Yeah, CDs I kind of am up to date with modern stuff for the most part, but vinyl record I slack. Okay, so it's funny because your last pick was one that you were worried about me picking. This is how I felt with this one.
oh no, what is it?
Mental Health by Quiet Riot.
Almost picked that one instead of orange cherry pie because I was like, nah, he's gonna pick cherry pie and I should do quite right.
That worked in our
Oh.
favor.
I'm glad I didn't pick that one.
I remember getting this on like, well, actually on CD. That's when I first got this, and then I got on cassette and vinyl record. This album I remember when I got it. My family must have wanted to kill me because I would shower and then have my portable CD player just full blast so I could hear over the water this album playing. So I'm sure they got sick of hearing, more specifically, "Come On Feel the Noise" more than anything else because that's the biggest song. But I mean, I don't know. I was bopping. This is one of my favorite hair metal albums.
Mhm.
Like Slickback, Cadillac, you never could go wrong with. Mental Health, Bang Your Head.
I
Bum,
love
bum.
that album.
I
God.
mean, you can't go wrong with that. Like Love's a Bitch is fantastic. Battle Axe, Thunderbird. Like if I was to say there's a flawless hair metal album, I'd have to say this would
Yeah,
be
me
one of them.
album.
My only complaint about this is that I got it and I was looking for this for a while. It's one of the more common hair metal albums to find, but I, for whatever reason, wasn't finding it. So I got this one. I was like, all right, I'm grabbing it. My only complaint is that the album, I don't know if you could tell on camera, but the album cover is kind of faded. Um, because my friend was like, that album cover is messed up. And that's censoring it. He said something else, but I'm not going to say that on the internet. And when I'm not recording, I can tell you if you want to know. But he pulled out his copy when we got back to his house, and I'm just like, wow, those colors are so rich, and mine are so sun faded. But yeah, I mean, and speaking of how I showed the Cinderella example of the hair metal, I mean, boom.
Yeah, love the hair. For some reason, when I was like 9 and 10, that was like the epitome of every cute guy was like the hair. Like that was the standard, was like the big hair. I was like, I don't know why I'm obsessed with these guys, but I found myself loving just a lot of those guys.
Yeah, and I really love this label. It's a generic label for the Phosphia. I don't know if I'm saying the label, but I just love that label for it. So yeah, that's some fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad we didn't mention any of the same.
Yeah, because if I was to choose Motley Crue, I don't know if I would have I probably would have chosen Theater of Pain. And I almost chose Condition Critical for Quiet Riot, but I was like, you know what? This one has more nostalgia to it. That's what we need to talk about. Yeah, and that's really the main one I was concerned about you having really of the ones I had. I didn't think that you were going to have Cinderella, so I was like, oh, I'm just going to do this as a non-showing one, and then, oh, Cinderella, perfect. And you're like, oh, no, and I'm just, oh, crap.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Cinderella is one that doesn't get talked about a whole lot, and I was like, I probably should talk about them.
Yeah. I
Nobody
was
talks about them.
I was actually gonna pull out for the like example one on CD. I was gonna pull out Bon Jovi's debut, but I was like, yeah, people are gonna yell at me and say that's Glam. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that.
No, hey, it's okay. I didn't even like really consider Bon Jovi as like the hair. But I mean, I guess when you really think about it and like getting into music, and stuff, I really started thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I guess he kind of is just like, his appearance and stuff. So I don't know. He's one of those that I feel like could be a part of multiple different genres and nobody could really make a fuss about it because he fits into different categories, I feel like.
Hair metal, glam metal, pop, rock. Um,
Yeah. This is why I also hate subgenres. Like, I love subgenres, but I also hate them because I'm like, there are so many subgenres in the world. Like, you could just have 20 for like one album almost by the time you go through all the subgenres. And those people that have their collections organized by genres, like, praise you because I could never do it. Like, I would try too hard being like, oh, this pop rock album, is it more pop? Is it more rock? This album, what is it? Like, I just couldn't do it. My
no.
brain would kill me.
My CDs are organized by first name of the artist and by the discography release date. Whatever genre is there, it's there. The only separation I have is my Christmas and Halloween CDs. Those are separate. Vinyl record wise, it's the same. Halloween and Christmas albums are separate. Then I have my main collection. I have my box sets, 45s.
Mm-hmm.
Then my mom and dad's and grandfather's collections, those are separate in their own things. But in my collection, I also I separate jazz, which brings another problem which is something that I'm dealing with. But I'm just like, I want my jazz separate. Things like Nat King Cole or Frank Sinatra, I'm like, jazz, crooner. Well, like, what am I doing here? So those aren't my main collection. I'd have like things like Lee Morgan, Art Blakey, and all them in the main jazz. But like, I feel that there's a reason why I don't categorize by genre.
I couldn't. Like, mine are all alphabetical. And then I kind of do like you. I have like all of my soundtracks and Christmas stuff, like, outside of everything. And I'm even weird and do like my Disney stuff together. And I have like collaboration albums together, which sounds like really weird. Like, I know a lot of people probably just stick them in there, but I'm like, who do you stick them under? Like, I have Billy Joe Armstrong and Nora Jones for Everly. Do you stick it like with Green Day? Do you stick it under Billy Joe Armstrong? Do you stick it under Nora Jones? Like, where do you stick it? So I was like, you know what? I'm making my own category.
Yeah, for me, I feel that there's a couple of them like Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson's Pancho and Lefty, for example.
Yep.
I have that on CD and vinyl record. That's one my grandfather had in both formats because he really liked that album, clearly. And I ended up putting it under Merle Haggard because I think Merle Haggard's name is listed first, so I just did it under that one. But I'm just like, I feel that I'm just like, which artist? And then what I really love is when I have it in the order that they're named on the vinyl record and the spine and all that stuff. Yet Discogs have the artist names in the opposite order, even though the label has it the way.
Yeah, I hate that. And like I alphabetize mine like by last name. So my Discogs is always off. Like if I go through and I'm looking for something alphabetically on there, it's always off. Like Alice Cooper is in the A's instead of the C's, which bugs the living tar out of me. And at first, when I first started collecting, everything was by first name. And then I started to realize that like that was really stupid because I was going back and forth from like having it all first name here. And then when I go to a record store, most of them are organized by last name. So
Yeah,
then I had to like feel like I thought about it more. And now I just don't even think about it because like I know where things are. Because I
is
feel like when I go shopping, I had to think about like, okay, this is by last name, not by first name. And now I just feel like it's easier.
yeah. For me, I am untraditional. I do it by first name. That's how I like it. When I see my parents' CD collection, it drives me nuts. I have to get used to doing it by the last name. I have over the years, I've gotten used to it, just like I've gotten used to going to a record store and doing it by last name. There was actually a record store that once that actually had everything by first name, and I was like, interesting.
No, I would die because I've gotten so used to everything being last name basis. And like I've trained myself to like organize by last names. I don't know if I could do that anymore.
Yeah. This is what's great about these VC videos is like the collaborations like this is because like we have the main focus of the thing and then we have like get going all deep and like just the like community and coming together and all that stuff and it's great. I love it.
Yeah, I know. Which I've actually found that to be true on the podcast that I do. Which I felt like when I first started, I was like, it's going to be so heavy on one topic. We're not going to like veer off. Like, how do you do that? And then it really does become something like just about everything because you get on all these little side topics. And I
Yeah.
think that makes it even more fun. So,
Maybe one day in the near future we should do an Elvis one.
ooh,
That'd
that
be
would be fun.
literally we just pull out everything Elvis that we have.
Oh no, we'd be here for a while if I did that. I have like 60 Elvis records, I think.
Wow.
Close to it. Yeah, I have a ton of Elvis records. And I mean, that's including like 45s and stuff too. But I think I have the most by Elvis on vinyl. That's
Yeah, I have my grandfather's 45s collection. He had more Elvis than anything else. He had 20 Elvis 45s.
oh wow. I think I have like 10 maybe 45s. I don't have as many 45s as I do the rest
Same.
of my collection. I don't play them as much, so I try not to buy a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like if I need to listen, if I want to listen to music and I'm like, I'm getting up in the morning and I just happen to have like a couple 45s up in my room and not with my collection, I'll play like Madonna's Like a Prayer or whatever 45 I have on me, Flashdance theme, whatever I have there. But I yeah, generally I'm not too much on the 45s either. But I'm telling you though, the stuff my grandfather had on 45 is really crazy. The only thing that drives me nuts is that none of them have any of the sleeves.
Oh no, I would go insane. My dad's that way. He has like the little case for all the 45s and he just has them thrown in there and I'm like, I just can't handle it.
That's my grandfather's collection. I'm surprised that more of his 45s are not warped and cracked like some of them are. But
Yeah, that's what like I just picture that happening with dads. Like I'm picturing them all in there just like rubbing against each other and like scratching and just I
I have a I have a 45 shelf that I have. So I bought it. I hate to say it, but I just figured it's better than no sleeves. I bought the 45 paper sleeves for my grandfather's 45s. I cleaned them and then I listened to them and I put them in the sleeves and I put them on the shelf so they're not all doing it. But he had them in like this retro vintage, like I don't know, 60s, 50s, 70s style suitcase. Like it was really cool. I'll have to send you a photo or something. But
yeah,
it was in there and some of those 45s are killer. Like those are, and some of them are very hard to find, like original pressings of 45s by Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Carl Perkins. But like there's some really cool things in the 45s, and my 45s are pretty much things I got in the DJ collection or the occasional one I buy, because I really don't buy 45s much.
Yeah. I don't sometimes I'll buy them like if I'm in the record store and I don't find much elsewise, I'll go up and look through the 45s and that's when I tend to buy a lot. Or if I'm on Discogs and like there are a few sellers that have if you buy so many, you get free shipping. And then like I'll look through and end up finding a lot of like random 45s that are like less than $1. I end up buying them that way and I'm like, okay, I need to stop doing this because it just adds to my collection. I have like 100 of them and I don't need like 100 of them because I hardly ever listen to them. So
Well, just my grandfather's alone is a couple hundred 45s. My my collection might be like 150 45s maybe. But really for 45s wise, I don't go out of my way to find them. But when I go through them and thumb through them, I generally look for Beatles, Johnny Cash, Elvis. Um,
mhm.
although I was very happy to find the Cheers theme song on 45. So I was like, oh, I'm getting that. That's such a bop.
There is only one that I've went out of my way to find and I just got it recently. It's right next to me too. So I'm going to get it while I'm here. And I haven't shown it on my channel yet, but it's a Queen 45. This is like hands down my favorite Queen single. It's You're My Best Friend. But the B-side is the best part on it. 39 is my favorite Queen song.
Ooh.
Hands down. I love it. And I hate saying that because Brian sings it and I feel like everybody crucifies me because it's not a Freddie song.
No,
But
39 is fantastic.
I love that song and I actually just found it on Discogs for like $2 and I cried tears of joy because that's like my favorite song in the entire universe. And I have it on vinyl 3 times over now, 4 times, including the single. So, did I need the single? No. But
But
now
you
if I ever
want
just want to randomly listen to the song, you just randomly listen to the song. So,
39 is one of the most underrated deep cuts in Queen's discography.
thank you. I am like so glad people agree with me. I actually talked about that on the last episode of the podcast too. And I was like, I don't understand why nobody likes the song because it's on A Night at the Opera, which is
Right.
their biggest album.
Mhm.
And everybody talks about like the big songs on there. And recently everyone's been loving like Death on Two Legs.
Yeah,
And I'm like, okay, that is a good song. But what about 39? It is like the
yeah.
best song on the album. And I'm going to say it. I don't care. People can get offended. That's the best song on the album. And no one talks about it. And it makes me so upset.
I would have to say it's one of the best deep cuts. I'm not sure if I would say it's the best on the album, in my opinion. However, I am most certainly not going to argue with that, though, because it's such a good song.
Mm-hmm.
I freaking love that album. That's my favorite Queen album, no matter how stereotypical it is. That's my favorite. I have the documentary of A Night at the Opera, the creation of by Classic Albums, that series, my favorite documentary of music. Next to the Walk the Line, that Reese Witherspoon, and I forget the guy at the moment, but that is a great one. Yeah, cool. Death on Two Legs. I don't know what that's a deeper cut. I don't know where everybody's just loving that song out of nowhere. Not that I'm complaining; it's a great tune, but like
That
I
and Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon has been really popular recently too, especially on TikTok for some reason. Like
yeah,
Jared watches TikToks and I'll like randomly hear Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon. I'm like, when did you start listening to Queen? No, it's on TikTok. And I'm like, you're weird. Like I hate TikTok. He shows me like the stupidest videos on TikTok and I just don't understand why it's popular.
I
But
am not proud to say I'm on TikTok, but I am on it.
I just don't get into it like
I,
everybody else
I
does.
I was required to have TikTok and make TikToks for a grade for a music technology class.
That is interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, Queen Night at the Opera is fantastic, and Queen isn't known for instrumental songs, but the ending track, "God Save the Queen," I love it.
Yeah.
Um,
That whole album is just incredible.
I'll never forget that the first time I heard that album, I was so thrown back and surprised by Freddie singing, "And now you can kiss my ass goodbye."
Yeah.
Because I was not expecting it. Like, same thing happened with Van Halen's "Fair Warning." When I heard Eddie Van Halen say, I don't remember the line, but he said "fuck," and I'm just like, oh my god! Like I'm not expecting it from these people. I'm expecting this from like hip hop, rap, like um, some modern pop and all that stuff. I'm not expecting you guys to do it, but it's classily it's done in a classy way.
Yeah, it's not like every word is a cuss word.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I love it. But we shall talk a little bit more once we cut the video, because I'm sure that we are probably hitting the hour mark here. But
Rambling.
no, but it's great. Of all the videos, these collaboration ones, I don't mind if they're that long because it's interpersonal, as I said earlier, and I love it and it's great. And no matter how many times we got off topic, it's fun. So
Yeah, I've definitely enjoyed it.
absolutely. So if you guys don't know who Marichen is, her links will be below. Don't know why you wouldn't know who she is, but she's fantastic, clearly. And give her a check. Subscribe to her if you want. Give me a sub. I mean, you're watching me, you might as well sub me too. And leave comments, likes, all that, yada yada. Thank you guys for watching. Keep on spinning that wax. Thanks, Marichen, for joining me, and we will see you in the next Final Record video.